There are a lot of people here tonight who probably are not that familiar with our next award recipient, but the Cardinals front office and the players are. They know who Steve Turco is and what his presence in the organization has meant for more than 3 decades. Turco did his work a long way away from Busch Stadium, usually in the low levels in the minor leagues, but his leadership and his value is reflected by the number of players that he sent on to become professionals and later found their way to the major leagues. The St. Louis chapter of the Baseball Writers Association, very happy to present the J. Roy Stockton Award for Outstanding Achievement in Baseball to our good friend Steve Turco.
You know, I was on the caravan with some of the young players, and Turk, they kept talking about the brotherhood of being teammates. You and I have been brothers a long time, and congratulations on your retirement.
Well, yeah, Rick, thank you very much. It's probably the last couple of months people have asked me about retired life, and I still don't know what to tell them, because this is typically what I do every off season. So until March comes around and I'm not in spring training with the guys, I really can't even tell you what retirement is. So I'm excited about the future, and I'm excited about the future of the St. Louis Cardinals.
One guy I want to ask you about in particular is a guy that many up here, and anybody that's been around the Cardinals at all in the last 40 years will have a George Kissel story, but he was instrumental for you particularly, and you were a shortstop player, infielder, and then he saw something in you as a manager. How did he influence you along the way?
Well, George was a second father to me. If it wasn't for him, and I really truly mean this when I say he was responsible for my career. He helped me as a player. You know, when you go to spring training your first year, I was 1979, I was a free agent, and I was just hoping that I would get through spring training. And guys were getting released. We had probably 40 players too many, and guys were getting released daily. So I was just praying, please let me get through. And I was fortunate enough to have George Kissel as a mentor. He saw, as you said, he saw something in me that he liked. He took me under his wing. You talk about working. I remember after games, he would take me on field. It was field 5 at the time, and he would take me and he would hit me bucket after bucket after bucket of ground balls. And I remember taking the bus back to the hotel, and the bus would drop us off across the street, and I could barely make it across. My legs were so sore. But this is the kind of work ethic that he instilled in us.
And that's what you did for countless number of Cardinal players along the way, hitting them buckets after buckets. Yeah. But that was almost a story that didn't happen, too. Maybe a little bit about your journey where you actually left the game for a bit, and George, again, a part of getting you back.
Well, yeah, Rick, at the time, I had gotten married, and I wasn't making very much money, and we were depleting our resources, our savings. And my wife said, it's gonna have to come down to one thing or another. And I wound up leaving the game for 3 years. Tragically, she passed away. And when she passed away, I was kind of lost. I didn't know what direction I wanted to go in. And I remember getting a hold of George, and George, again, was instrumental in getting me back in with the Cardinals. And I would never thought when I first started again in '79 that it was going to be a 37-year association. I mean, I don't think we enter into anything thinking it's going to last that long. So I was blessed. I was very fortunate. I had many. I mean, George was just one of many who kind of helped me along the way. I had great managers that I played for, and great legendary instructors that I followed their lead with. Hub Kittles and the Dave Ricketts of the world, and Bo Millikins. These were all people that were again very influential in my life.
And lastly, Steve, when you look at 9 Cardinal players making their major league debut, we've talked about this kind of of course, you've got the veterans and then you've got the rookies, and it really was the year of the rookie player last year. You know, those are guys guys that you saw
absolutely.
And coached and was around. And what about the joy you have in your heart for that?
This is, and I was just talking to Stubby earlier. I don't take credit for anybody having made it to the major leagues. I'm glad that I could be a part of their life to influence them in how to play the game the right way and how to be a professional. But as far as them actually making it to the major leagues, I don't take credit for any of that. I give all the credit to the players.
Well, thank you for your influence, Steve Turco.
Oh, can I just say one thing about Stubby Clapp?
Yes, you may.
Stubby played for me his first year.
Did he?
Yes, he did. He played for me, and he had a visa issue because he's from Canada. And Stubby wasn't able to play for a long time, and I couldn't wait to get him in the lineup, and I couldn't wait for the visa to come through where he was able to play. Well, as Ozzie used to do his backflip,
yes,
so did Stubby. Stubby would do his backflips before we go out on the field, and everybody would cheer. And he was a crowd favorite. And then one day we had a real rough season that year. And one day we took a phantom infield, And for those of you that don't know what a phantom infield is, there was no baseball being used. I'm making believe I'm hitting fungos, and they're catching the ball and throwing it to where they have to throw it. Well, we had one fan there. I'll tell you the finish of this, but Stubby, I hit a ground ball to Stubby playing shortstop. Stubby, I don't know if you recall this, but Stubby had a bridge in his mouth, from playing hockey. He had lost a tooth. Everybody's taking the ball and throwing it, and it's going along very smoothly. So Stubby gets a ground ball hit to him. He makes believe he gets a bad hop. He knocks his tooth out of his mouth and throws his tooth over to first base. And the lady in the stand, the one fan that we had, she said, "No wonder you guys can't play. You don't even use a baseball when you practice." And that was the story.
And that's why we love baseball, and that's why we love Steve Turco. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.